Coming up on this week's Gadget Show Web TV, John reviews the slimmed-down Apple TV. I bring you this week's best tech news and check out the latest Bluetooth speaker from Jawbone. Hello and welcome to this week's Web TV. Coming up later, I blast out some tunes with the help of the latest Bluetooth speaker, the Jambox. But first up, John's been checking out the streamlined Apple TV that's done away with its hard drive in favour of standalone streaming. But does this sacrifice and limit its capabilities? Over to John to find out.
This is Apple's new second-generation Apple TV, and it's surprisingly, indeed shockingly small if you're used to the old one. What they've done is get rid of the hard drive and made it essentially a streaming device. They've also cut the price to just under £100, and they've reduced the number of connections. There's the HDMI socket there, socket for the mains lead, one for digital audio out, and one for an Ethernet socket if you don't use the built-in Wi-Fi. It's all extremely easy to set up. I had it running on my home Wi-Fi network within about 3 minutes of getting it out of the box. Once you switch it on, you enter your iTunes details and you're ready to do what I presume Apple will hope you do with it, which is rent movies from them through iTunes. It's quite a delightful interface which you control using the supplied slimline remote. That's the same as the one you can use to control MacBooks. In fact, if you've got a MacBook in the room, it will control it at the same time. You have to switch it off in system preferences. Any movies you've actually rented are just up here on the left, which is handy, or you can go through to search from the selection available. And again, it's this rather delightful interface that actually we're used to from the old Apple TV. It's a great way to select movies by looking at movie posters. Click on them and you get much more information about the film and the ability to watch a trailer. It's all very good, apart from the fact that the selection of movies doesn't seem to have improved greatly since I last tried an Apple TV a couple of years or so ago. I'd have expected a bigger selection by now. It tends to be mainly popular top titles and with a few concessions to world cinema. Another problem is that there's no TV programmes to rent, which I think is a pity. By far the biggest problem I had with it though was the quality of the HD streaming. I rented one HD movie and basically it kept stopping. You know, you'd get a little bit, it'd all grind to a halt, you have to reset it, find your place again, or resume, or whatever. It was all a very disturbing experience. I checked my Wi-Fi connection, I checked my internet connection, they were both fine. I also waited until the second day because you get 30 days to start your rental and then 48 hours to watch the film, just in case they were having problems on that day. And again, a sort of very stuttering and incomplete film performance. Terrible. They've really got to get that sorted. In fairness, I did also rent a standard definition film and I didn't have any problems. So it seems to be mainly with the material that requires higher levels of bandwidth. All in all, it makes you think Apple could well have dropped their hard drive too soon. Thankfully though, renting movies isn't the only thing you can do with an Apple TV. You can look at YouTube videos, you can listen to and watch podcasts, you can look at public Flickr photos, you can also listen to internet radio through the actually quite limited internet radio app. You can also stream music from your computer, providing it's on, and you've got all your music in iTunes. It'll also stream video from iTunes, but again, it's quite limited. You've got to use Apple-friendly formats. You can't use an MKV file or a DivX file without converting it first. One thing that is helpful, though, while you're doing all this sort of activity, is to download the remote app for an iDevice like an iPod, an iPhone or an iPad, and this means you can enter text on the screen with an on-screen keyboard and use a variety of swipe gestures. It makes it an easier way to control the Apple TV. If the Apple TV happens to do exactly what you want, then I think it might be for you, but I think for most people it'll just be a bit too limiting. I find the lack of being able to get any sort of TV program directly through the box particularly frustrating. I also think things like the YouTube and the Flickr apps, well, they're available on quite a lot of internet-enabled TVs and Blu-ray players these days without you having to have a separate box. Plus, I need to be totally convinced that I'm actually going to be able to watch any HD movie I rent without interruption for me to wholeheartedly recommend the Apple TV.
Right, Right, news time now, and first up, Apple has finally released iOS 4.2, offering new features to your iPhone, iPad and iPod Touch. Some of the new features include Find My iPhone, iPad or iPod Touch, which is now free, and this feature allows you to find your lost device on a map, display a message on the screen, remotely set a passcode lock and initiate a remote wipe to remove any of your personal data. AirPlay allows you to stream digital media wirelessly from your device to your Apple TV and AirPlay-enabled speakers. And the iPad now has folders, which means you can have a much more organised home screen. Multitasking has also made its way to the iPad, and you will now be able to print emails, photos, Word documents and web pages directly from your iPhone, iPad and iPod Touch. Next up, LG has revealed its latest tablet device, the eNote H1000B. The tablet is powered by an Intel Atom Z510 chip and also comes with 1 GB of RAM, 16 GB worth of storage, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 2 USB 2 slots and an SD card reader. It runs Windows 7 and has a capacitive touchscreen, but sadly there is no camera. There's no word yet on a UK release date, as it's currently only being shown off in Korea for the price equivalent to around £530. But it's rumoured that LG will also be bringing out an Android tablet that will be hitting our shores in the very near future. So here's hoping the upcoming CES will hold some answers. We all love music here on the Gadget Show, so a good old speaker setup is vital for blasting those tunes around the office. So when I got sent the Jambox from the people that bought us the Jawbone Bluetooth headset, I had to test out its credentials with some of my choice tunes. We've always been huge fans of the Jawbone Bluetooth headset here on the Gadget Show, so I was excited to hear about this, the Jambox Bluetooth speaker, as it claims to replicate the Jawbone's famous crisp sound qualities. It's priced at just under 160 quid and it's available in 4 different colours. This is the black diamond, but you can also get your hands on the blue wave, the red dot and the grey hex. It's really portable, and inside the case it houses tiny speakers and a rechargeable battery that's good for up to 8 hours. The makers claim it's really good for watching movies and playing games, and it's a great alternative to something like a traditional boombox. And I've tried it with multiple devices such as Bluetooth laptop, my iPhone, and I've even borrowed somebody's iPad in the office, and it's been really easy to set up and easy to use. But the main thing to talk about is the Jambox's sound quality, and it's really good in comparison to some more traditional, bulkier iPod docks. And despite its small size, it produces good bass and has enough volume to annoy more than a few people in the office. I probably should turn it down. There are people working after all. The unit's speakerphone feature is really useful too. Allow me to demonstrate.
Good morning.
Morning, you alright?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. How are you doing yourself?
Not too bad. I haven't woken you up, have I?
No, don't worry about it.
Well, you sound quite awake. Are you in the office yet?
Yeah, I'm just in the other part of the office.
Ah, I think maybe you should put the kettle on. I'll have a tea, please, milk and one. The user interface for pairing the speaker with a phone or other device is identical to the standard wireless headset, and the Jambox will even speak to you to alert you of information such as the battery's current level.
Battery is about full.
But my only problem with the Jambox is that it promises a range of around 30 feet, but when I was testing it at home, it did seem to drop signal through walls. So it's probably better to use it when you're out and about, for example, if you're chilling in the park with your mates and you've got a clear line of sight to the devices you're connected to. But if you don't want to use Bluetooth at all, there's always the old-fashioned way of wired connections. And thankfully, that's not all the Jawbone comes with. There's a travel-sized AC adapter, 2 USB cables, a long one for wall charging and a short one for connecting to your laptop. And it also comes with a foldable magnetic case. The Jawbone is perfect for travelling and could make an ideal substitute for your speaker systems at home, and also double up as a speakerphone for the office or the home. And it does both jobs with a touch of class. Well, that's all we've got time for today, but I'll be back next week with more news and reviews. The main show is on your screen Monday night at 8 on 5, and this week, Otis and Pollyanna race across London in their own high-octane Gadget Pack take on the classic game of Monopoly.
I'm right on your tail, Deanie!
John tests out some of the latest wood-burning stoves in the chilly English countryside, and Jason reveals his top 5 computer games for 2010.
Yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
It's sure to be a great show and definitely one not to miss. But from me here at Web TV, it's bye for now.